Welcome to my channel. Have you ever wondered who among the greatest wizards of the wizarding world possessed the most remarkable magical abilities? In today's video, you will learn why Severus Snape was stronger than both Voldemort and Dumbledore in certain areas of magic. Severus Snape is one of the most memorable, controversial, and tragic characters in the entire Harry Potter saga. For most of the series, he was seen as an antagonist, if not the main villain, then certainly an unpleasant figure. But in the end, the truth about his past changed everything. What once seemed like cruelty and vengeance turned out to be love and devotion. What appeared as coldness and disdain was, in fact, a deep sense of duty and sacrifice. Some even called Snape a coward, but few characters demonstrated more bravery than he did. Deceiving the most dangerous dark wizard of all time for years, how many could have done that? Yet, despite all of this, Snape's incredible magical abilities are often overlooked. And that's a mistake. He was not just a skilled wizard, he was a genius in multiple fields of magic. Let's dive into what made Severus Snape one of the greatest wizards of his time. Severus Snape was born into a troubled family. His mother was a witch, his father a muggle, and their home life was filled with tension. From a young age, Snape was reserved and introverted, struggling with insecurities and poverty. But he was also brilliant. Even before attending Hogwarts, he formed a close bond with Lily Evans, the future mother of Harry Potter. Their friendship, however, was tested when they were sorted into different houses, Snape into Slytherin and Lily into Gryffindor. Despite his love for Lily, Snape gravitated toward a group of Slytherins who later became Death Eaters. He never truly fit in, yet he remained loyal to Voldemort until the Dark Lord made one fatal mistake. When Voldemort killed Lily, Snape was devastated. In her memory, he secretly allied with Dumbledore, dedicating his life to protecting Harry, even if it meant acting as a double agent for both sides. His final moments were spent ensuring Harry had everything he needed to defeat Voldemort once and for all. But what truly set Snape apart was his mastery of magic. He was not just an exceptional wizard, he was a prodigy. As a student, he was already inventing his own spells, something no other Hogwarts student had ever done. His skill in potions was unmatched, surpassing even the most talented alchemists. He was a formidable duelist, a master of dark arts, and a true expert in magical defenses. Snape's knowledge of the dark arts was deeper than even Dumbledore's. The headmaster often sought his counsel on the subject, recognizing Snape's unparalleled expertise. But what made Snape even more impressive was his ability to counter dark magic. No one in Hogwarts history taught defense against the dark arts as effectively as he did. When it came to curses, Snape was in a league of his own. He was the only wizard capable of delaying Dumbledore's death after the headmaster was struck by a deadly curse from Voldemort's Horcrux. He was also the only one who could neutralize the powerful curse placed on Katie Bell. And then there was occlumency, the ability to shield one's mind from intrusion. Voldemort was a master of legilimency, the art of reading minds, but Snape outclassed even him in mental defenses. The Dark Lord, despite his immense power, never once saw through Snape's deception. For years, Snape stood before Voldemort, lied to his face, and never got caught. That alone makes him one of the most skilled wizards of all time. In the end, Snape surpassed Dumbledore in at least 2 fields of magic and outmatched Voldemort in 1. That alone secures his place as one of the greatest wizards in history. Snape's brilliance extended far beyond what most wizards could ever achieve. His mastery over spells was extraordinary. While most students struggled to memorize and cast existing spells, Snape was creating new ones. His infamous Sectum Sempra curse was a testament to his understanding of dark magic, a spell so lethal that it could inflict wounds as if struck by an invisible sword. Yet it wasn't just the darkness he understood. Snape was equally skilled in healing magic, proving that his knowledge went beyond destruction. Unlike Voldemort, who only cared about power, Snape understood balance. He knew that magic was not just about force, but about control, precision, and intelligence. His abilities as a duelist were often underestimated. He never dueled for sport, rarely displaying his skills unless necessary. But when he did, it became clear that he was a force to be reckoned with. His movements were fluid, his spells quick and deadly. During the Battle of the Astronomy Tower, he effortlessly deflected every spell cast at him, even from some of the most skilled members of the Order of the Phoenix. He did not fight to kill, but to escape, proving that he had complete command over his magic. He did not need to rely on raw power like Voldemort or the theatrics of Dumbledore. He relied on efficiency. Every move had a purpose, every spell was calculated. Perhaps his greatest skill, however, was deception. Snape was the ultimate double agent, fooling both sides of the war until the very end. This required more than just skill in occlumency. It required an iron will, a mind that could never waver. He had to convince Voldemort of his loyalty while secretly working against him. One slip, one moment of doubt, and he would have been dead. Even the most cunning Death Eaters feared Voldemort's ability to detect lies. Snape stood before him countless times, delivered false information, manipulated the events of the war, and walked away unscathed. Dumbledore, despite being the greatest wizard of his era, trusted Snape with the most delicate and dangerous tasks. He knew that only Snape could carry out his final plan. It wasn't just about skill, it was about trust, about knowing that Snape would never waver, even in the face of death. When the time came, Snape did what no one else could. He killed Dumbledore, not out of hatred, not out of ambition, but because it was necessary. It was the ultimate act of sacrifice, condemning himself in the eyes of the world to ensure Voldemort remained blind to the truth. Snape was not a hero in the traditional sense. He did not seek glory, did not demand recognition. His victories were not celebrated, and his sacrifices remained unknown to most. He operated in the shadows, ensuring that the right people survived, that the right information reached the right hands. Even as the world despised him, even as he was seen as a villain, he continued his work. He protected Harry not out of love for the boy himself, but out of love for Lily. Yet that love transformed into something greater, a duty, a mission that went beyond personal feelings. His complexity is what makes him one of the most compelling characters in the wizarding world. He was neither purely good nor purely evil. He existed in the grey where true power lies. Unlike Voldemort, who saw only power, or Dumbledore, who saw only hope, Snape understood reality. He understood that sometimes the only way to win was to make the hardest choices. He was willing to be hated if it meant achieving the greater good. His knowledge of potions alone was enough to place him among the greatest wizards in history. He rewrote the standard recipes, improving upon centuries-old formulas. While others simply followed instructions, he innovated. He saw potions not as a mundane subject, but as an art. The Half-Blood Prince's notes in his potions textbook revealed a mind that was always seeking improvement, always finding ways to push the limits of what was possible. Even in his death, he remained true to his purpose. When Voldemort turned on him, believing that Snape's death was the key to true mastery over the Elder Wand, Snape did not beg. He did not plead. He faced his fate with the same quiet resolve that defined his entire life. Yet even in his final moments, his only concern was passing on the last piece of vital information to Harry. His last words were not about himself, not about revenge, but about Lily. Look at me. A heartbreaking reminder that everything he did for love. Snape's legacy is one of quiet brilliance, of a man who sacrificed everything and received nothing in return. He will never be remembered as a hero by the world he saved. His name will not be sung in ballads, nor will statues be built in his honor. But for those who look deeper, who see beyond the surface, Snape stands as one of the greatest wizards of all time. Not because of his power, but because of how he used it. Dumbledore once said that it is our choices that show who we truly are, far more than our abilities. Snape's choices defined him in ways few could understand. He chose to walk the most difficult path, to bear the weight of an entire war on his shoulders, to stand alone in a world that despised him. And he never faltered. His story is one of tragedy, but also one of triumph. Not the triumph of a celebrated hero, but of a man who fought in the shadows and never asked for recognition. His strength was not just in magic, but in resilience, in loyalty, in love that outlasted death. He was, in every way that mattered, greater than both Voldemort and Dumbledore.